What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the second episode of the Zaffa and ATG podcast.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I feel slightly hungover today. Not because I drank, it's because I'm waking up. And I believe you felt a little bit hungover on Monday, didn't you? Listen, yeah, guys, this guy, I think he's still drunk. I think he's still slightly drunk.
Might be. I might be.
Might be. But was it a good time on Sunday?
I had a great time, Mr. Zaffa. I had a really, really good time. A little bit of a good time. But yeah, man, it was I don't drink a lot, right? I don't, I used to, as a younger person, I used to drink quite a lot, but I don't drink a lot anymore. And then Sunday just caught me off guard completely.
Yeah, the big thing that we can take away from this is basically you work hard, you play as hard as you work.
Exactly.
Like you're making up for lost time, so we're good.
Exactly.
That's the important bit, especially when it comes to content creation. If
Most
you
definitely.
skip a day because you want to get drunk or you want to party or you want to do something, you got to make up for those days, man.
100%.
You got to make up for those days.
Especially in this industry, like you say. This is a difficult industry, so you need to put in the work and the effort. It's true, man.
You do.
100%
And
true.
but how has your week been, other than the awesome Sunday?
So, I was super excited. You saw that I'm playing Wolfenstein New Colossus now, and I really can't wait for every stream. So Monday night with my Babalas.
New Colossus is the second new one that was released, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So with my Babalas ready to stream, all happy. My stream didn't want to work, so my week streaming wise didn't work out so well. But other than that, I've been busy with work. And last night's stream went pretty well. How about your week, man?
Man, it was an interesting week. On Thursday, I started hearing this whirring noise. No, it was Wednesday. Sorry. I started hearing this whirring noise on my computer. I'm like, it can't be the hard drive. I know what hard drive sounds like when they crash, so it can't be the hard drive. And I was playing Satisfactory, which is quite a taxing game, graphical-wise.
Yeah.
And on Thursday, we figured out that it's my GPU fan.
Oh, no.
And during the times of Rona, GPUs are expensive. Luckily, I got it sorted. I'm paying it off monthly.
Okay. Luckily for that option, right? Luckily for that option.
Yes, dude. Fucking if it wasn't for that, then I would have
streaming is your job. You need a graphics card, bro.
I do, yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save up a lot of money and just buy backups of everything in my computer.
Not
so
a bad
that
idea.
If it goes, I just replace it.
Just replace it and go on. And I also heard that graphics cards are super scarce, beside the fact that they are the money of gold now. They're super scarce as well. People
It's because they are scarce that they're so expensive,
Yeah.
I mean, the one that I got usually goes for about $12K. I'm paying $24K for it. So, woohoo!
My whole PC was $18K.
Dude, yeah, it's basically the price of a PC. And I'm like, and I looked at the guy and I'm like, first of all, it's the time of Rona. So it's like a close IT friend of mine. He runs his own company.
Okay.
It's a time of Rona. I want to help him out. And he just basically said, okay, cool. This is the card I have. He paid like 83 rands less for the card than I'm paying for it. 83 rands. He's making 83 rands on the card. And I'm like,
jeez, man.
Yeah, I'm going to get you some money.
Definitely.
To just cover the fact that you're helping me out. So first of all, I'm going to pay off the graphics card. And then after that, I'm going to give him like just some money just to
something extra, yeah, geez, man, because he's doing you a real solid there, right?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Okay, so guys, the topic for today, we're going to talk about our top 10 favorite games of all times. And I'm actually super excited to hear what Mr. Zaffa played, since I think our game tastes might differ quite a lot. I don't know, Zaffa. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. A lot of my games are based off of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And about two or three of them I have not streamed on Twitch, mainly because, I never got around to it. But it's basically based off nostalgia, most of them. And almost like the ones that I did stream, there was like a lot of them that I streamed actually the first time on Twitch,
Oh wow,
as short as a year ago. Like last year around about this time, I streamed those some of those games. So
awesome.
yeah, they're my top 10. So
I have
ooh.
to say personally, my most of my favorite games I can't stream since they are unstreamable on the platforms they're on.
uh,
But
oh,
yeah, I
PlayStation and that stuff.
yes, yes. So
Ah,
I
ah,
really, my taste in games really, you're gonna see it's a lot different from your average gamer, if like can put it in that manner. So yeah,
yeah.
man, I'm excited to share what I have. I don't know. You want to start? Can I start?
Let me
Mm,
just put a little bit of a caveat in there. I think
yeah,
most of my games came out before you were born.
most probably. How old do you think I am, Mr. Zaffa?
You're definitely a lot younger than I am. A lot
Maybe
younger
I
than
just
I
look
am.
good.
Maybe.
I'm 30. I'm 30, man. I'm turning 31 this year.
Yeah, some of those games, like I believe one of them came out before
Oh,
you were
really?
born. Wait.
Okay.
You're turning 31. It's 2021, so that was what,
1999.
99. Oh, yeah.
1990.
No,
1999.
no,
1990.
I'm sitting here. 1999 is like, well, wait.
This is a
Let's do.
gaming podcast,
Listen,
not a
we're
math
streamers. We're
lesson.
not. Yeah, we're not mathematicians. We are
Yes.
streamers. Um, okay, no, yeah. Some of them came out 1990. Yeah, you were 1990.
Yeah.
So no, I think the earliest one came out. Oh, the earliest one might have came out just before. No, I don't know the history of games. What time
It's
they were
okay. Don't
released.
stress
I
about it.
just know the time that I played them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. That's
So
perfect.
are we gonna go 10-1, or are we gonna go?
It's very difficult for me to put these in a ranking from 10 to 1 because some of them I
Mm,
love, both of them I love at a 7. You get so
oh
I think
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
let's just give our top 10, just give the 10 games and then talk about the games, how they pop up. If you have them in a list, that's awesome. From my side, I have to say that there's too many games that I know like these are all
Yeah.
my number one. This is like my top 10 number ones, to put it
Oh,
that
oh
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like some of mine is like the entire series, the entire franchise, or almost the
Yes.
entire
Yes,
franchise
yes, yes.
goes into one spot. Like
I
fuck
see. Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Well, are we gonna go one game, or are we gonna go through the list first and then talk
I
about
think
them?
maybe one game, one game.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
So should I start?
Yeah, you can go. You're more than
Okay. Cool.
welcome.
Yeah, my number 10 spot is Space Quest 2.
Space Quest 2.
Yeah, it was
Interesting.
released back in, I have no idea when it was released, to be perfectly honest. Let me do the wiki. Um, it was released back in. Man, it was the first game that I actually interacted with,
Yeah.
and 1987. It was released
1987.
back in 1987.
Jeez, that's long
And
ago.
the first time I played it was on my old 386 computer. So we
Yeah.
had color,
Wow.
and it was amazing. Like you had to literally type in your actions. You know,
Yeah.
today's Quest games, you click on
Yeah,
stuff, you
yeah.
say pick up and click
Yes,
that or
yes,
whatever.
yes.
You literally had to go search guard
Yes.
and pick up this, and then they tell you
That
what you can
is
pick up. Man, it was freaking
it's insane.
beautiful.
It is
Yeah,
absolutely insane. It's
yeah.
crazy how games evolved. I have to say personally, Mr. Zaffa, if you are talking about Quest games now, that the older kind of Quest games, like you said now, was better than the
Mm,
ones we have today. Just on my personal opinion, because I've take for example the CSI franchise, right? Now I
yeah.
remember playing all the CSI. Once I started this CSI thing, I was like, whoa, I'm gonna
Is that a
become.
Quest game though?
You use
I
options
don't.
that you
No,
need to
no.
select, or
Yeah, it's options, but
yeah.
like they call it adventure games nowadays. Back in the day, it was
Okay, yeah,
quests.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But the thing to me is, I just like typing these actions. You know, like
Mm,
to me, it was like more. You needed to do a little bit more, enabling you
mm.
to do what they want you to do. If you get what I'm saying. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Quest games, but the
Mm.
older ones were super fun, and I think all of us really had a Quest game somewhere along the line. We
Yeah, and
needed
I
to,
mean,
yeah.
And I mean, Space Quest 2 was one of the first games that had moon logic. Do you know what moon logic is?
Mhm.
So essentially, what happens is, for example, let's say you're trying to get a ring
Mm.
stuck inside a big ball of yarn,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Now, you've got a lot of things. You've got a magnet, you've got a lot of things in your inventory,
Mm.
and you use the magnet on the big ball of yarn, and it says, no, it doesn't work. They
Yeah,
tell you,
yeah.
nope, it doesn't work. And then in your inventory, you've got items like balloons and rubber bands and sticky tape and a reacher, those long things that you can looks like a giant scissor, and then you clip on something and
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
drag
yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, okay, cool. Maybe I can use the uh, magnet on that reacher thing, that grabber thing,
Mm.
and then push it into the ball of yarn to get it.
Yes.
And it says, no, it doesn't work. And then what you do is you take one of the balloons that you have and the duct tape and the magnet and then use it on each other and then stick it into the ball of yarn to grab the thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
That is not a good example of moon logic, but it's like usually items that doesn't correlate
Together,
to each
and then
other
I get what you're saying.
that you need to put together to make something
I
to
get
do
what you're
something.
saying. Yeah, yeah.
And you're sitting there going, how the hell was I supposed to figure this out?
Exactly, exactly. You're thinking that, okay, but this makes sense. And at the end of the day, the thing that you have to do. So I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. Okay, awesome.
you need to grab a moon rock from somewhere to add magnetism to the thing, and then
Yes.
add a couple of feathers to add flair, and then it works. It's like, what
Yeah, yeah.
the?
Crazy. So my first one that I would like to share is this classic over here, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, the first one.
Mm,
I think all of us know this on the PlayStation 1 with the Neversoft logo popping up and then the spear going through the eyeball. That was
mm,
like, to
mm,
me, this is one of the best games ever made. And I used to be a skateboarder years ago. I do still skateboard now and then. But this was definitely in my top 10 of games where if I have a memory of playing games, this would definitely be one of them, and
yeah.
it might even be in my top two if you think about it. As I mean, everybody at some stage in your life you played Tony Hawk, man. That's just
Yeah,
everybody.
my
At least everybody knows who he is. So if you
yeah,
say like,
my
yeah,
yeah, my first experience was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
oh really?
Yeah, that was my first
Yeah, yeah.
skateboarder experience,
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
And then shortly after, Dave Mira's BMX or something.
Oh, what a classic. I
Yeah.
even forgot about
Yeah.
that. That was crazy cool. Dave Mira, I remember that. Yo, man. No, but I have to say, Tony Hawk was. I've played literally every franchise, and
Mm,
personally, like this is personal opinion, is that they've just made it better and better and better and better. Especially the thing is, there's another skateboarding game that I'm gonna bring in, which I'm gonna compare to Tony Hawk. But the
mm.
thing about Tony Hawk, why I think kids would love it more than your older generation gamers or skateboarding gamers is because of the unrealism, right? It's super unrealistic. You can kickflip off the Empire State Building, and then if you do that, you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
die, you get a million points. So that's the thing about Tony Hawk that really amazed me. That all these tricks that I wanted to do as a child, I could now do, right?
Mm. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because your imagination as a child, when you, for example, if you a BMX rider or a skateboarder, as a child, when doing that, you always your mind does not think in a logical manner. So you
Yeah.
think, you imagine if I can jump off that building right there. But Tony Hawk
Mm,
brought
mm.
that to life where you could actually do it.
Yeah.
So Tony Hawk to me was one of the best and still is one of the best games to ever be made, according to my opinion. I love the Tony Hawk franchises.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. I mean, like I never got into the whole sports games as a whole.
Yeah, yeah.
My sports games was basically Tony Hawk and
Mm,
Dave Mira.
mm, mm, mm.
Uh, yeah, that was about it. Yeah, that's about the only two games that I played that
Mm.
had anything to do with sports
Yeah. Since we're
back in the
talking
day.
about games, Zaffa, I know this is, ladies and gentlemen, we do go off topic. That's just what we do, all right?
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
quick
We
question
might
for
not
you.
even complete the list today. You
Yeah. I
know.
have a quick question for you.
Hmm.
Why do you think that, and this is just I've never came to the conclusion as to why, but when you get a gamer, you either get a gamer that loves sports games, and you either get a gamer that doesn't. You
Mm.
hardly. There's a handful of people that like both. Why do you think that is? Is it just because of personal interest? Why do
I
you think
believe,
that?
yeah, I
Yeah,
believe it's because of personal interest and because mainly, especially back in the day,
yeah,
you were like, yeah, I play like I'm a gamer and I play the sports games. Not to say that if you play sports games only that you're not a gamer,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it was usually in American terms the jocks in our
Uh.
schools that played those type of
Yeah,
games
yeah,
because
yeah.
they didn't want to. I don't think they wanted to play games, but they
They
didn't
did
want to
play Dota at home
to.
alone, though. They were just playing
Yeah,
rugby at the bras.
yeah, yeah. They just didn't want to see like
Yeah,
nerds
yeah,
back in the day,
yeah,
nerds or
yeah,
geeks.
yeah, yeah.
So they played those games. But I have nothing against those type of
Mm, mm,
games.
mm, mm,
I've got a friend who's like a huge nerd,
mm.
and his favorite games is basically cricket.
Yeah,
Cricket is his.
I
If
love
there's a
cricket as
new
well,
cricket
man.
released, he plays it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay. But he's a big gamer.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I have to say, I'm one of those people. I dig both of them. Like, I can
mm,
play a game like Dota, League of Legends, and Valheim, as well as FIFA, rugby, and cricket. Right?
yeah.
I love all of it.
And
If a
then
game's good, I
and
play
then
it.
you've got a combination, and you've played it,
Mm.
Rocket League.
Oh, awesome!
Rocket League. I mean, soccer and racing. Come on, who
All
the
in one,
hell?
and Destruction
Yeah.
Derby, all in one. It's a three
Ooh,
in
I
one,
remember Destruction
right?
Derby.
That was crazy.
Holy balls, man! That was an amazing
That
game.
was really, really good.
Damn, they
I
should make a
actually
new
did a
one.
TikTok the other day where I put my I took a screenshot or video on my TV because I have Destruction Derby on the PlayStation Classic, and I just
Mm.
drove into the whole thing, and I said like if politics was a game, it would be that game because everyone just runs into each other and just crashes and everything just breaks up.
Talking about crashing cars, Carmageddon.
Oh,
Do
isn't
you?
that where
Oh,
you man? The cars had
Carmageddon
all
is where you literally drive a death race, where you drive into
yes.
people to get extra time
I
and
remember
points.
that the cars are like whole like devilish looks and all these horns and
Yeah,
things coming
yeah,
out. I remember that.
yeah. And there was this one voice line of an old lady as you just before you drive over her, and she goes splat on your screen. She's like, "I was in the war," blah, and then you.
Wow, man, how can I not remember
Yeah,
that? Well, that's
freaking
so
Carmageddon.
awesome. I remember
Yeah.
we had I didn't have the game, and my mother didn't want to buy me the game because of the bloodiness and all the bad things
Yeah.
that happened. So we would rent it at the video store, and then and remember the PlayStation One. If you take the CD out, the game kept running. Like you could
Yeah.
still play it. And then you just leave the cover open because the moment you close the cover, then the PlayStation reads that there's no disc. So I would take
Yeah.
the disc, I'll take it back to the video store, and I would still be able to play it for like 4 hours after I got home before the PlayStation realizes, listen, there's no more game inside of me. So, especially with Carmageddon. Oh, that was a crazy cool game, man.
That was a cool
That
game.
was a good
Yeah.
game. That was a good game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your
I
next
just
one,
wish
Mr.
they
Zaffa?
remake it
Yeah.
though. It would be cool if they remake it.
Imagine they
Yeah.
make a remake, especially like on
Like
PC nowadays with the
there was a
graphics
new
and oh,
Carmageddon released, I think Carmageddon 2000 or something,
yeah, yeah,
and it wasn't as good as the original.
as the original. But they
Yeah.
always with the remakes. Personally, I feel even with the one remake that was crazy cool to me was the Crash Bandicoot remake on the PlayStation 4 because
Mm.
I'm a massive Crash Bandicoot fan as well, and the remake they did was 100% similar, just better graphics. That was really good. That was really good.
Hey, that's a future topic. Remakes.
Hmm.
We can go crazy on remakes, but
Definitely.
let's get back. Let's
All
get back on
right.
track.
Sorry, ladies and gents.
And okay, cool. And then number 9 for me was XCOM, Enemy Unknown. But back
XCOM.
in the day, back in '94,
Mm.
um, I got it as UFO Enemy Unknown. That was a game. That was the first game that took me just over 3 years to complete.
Wow.
Yeah, just over 3 years to complete. And most
Wow.
of my friends who played the game at that stage also, like their average time span spent on the game before they finished it was about a year
Wow,
to
man.
2 years. Yeah. So I was like, when I finished that game 3 years later, I think it was in 96, 97 ish,
Mm.
maybe 98 ish, around about there. When I finished it, I was like, Oh, okay. First time I finished it, it was just it's a strategic squad based
Yeah,
shooter.
yeah, yeah,
Very RNG,
yeah,
worse
yeah,
RNG than the new XCOM has,
yeah, yeah.
and it was just wow, man. And for the amount of time for a 14 meg game,
Wow.
it took up a lot of time and a lot of like it's basically nostalgia things.
Yeah, yeah,
um they did release like a newer version of it which replaced all of the old sound effects, which I don't like. So every time I play it, I go out of my way, if I do feel a little bit nostalgic, I go out of my way to find the original sounds that I played with.
yes, yes, yes.
um Something as simple as the alien death sound.
Mm.
In the newer version, it's this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas if you kill them in the old version, it sounds literally like the xenomorph dying from aliens.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, that was a nostalgic
Wow,
that was a
awesome.
nostalgic game. An
14
interesting thing
megs, you
about this,
say? 14
huh?
megs in size, 14
14
megabytes.
megs, yeah,
Call of
14
Duty, please
megabytes
call these
inside.
guys and ask them what they're doing, please. Ask them how they
A
did
big,
it.
yeah, a big thing that I realized when looking at my list now, all of these games was inspired by I was introduced to by, well, most of them, not all of them. I was introduced to by my one friend
Oh, really? Wow.
that actually got me into gaming. Yeah.
That's
Now that
awesome,
I look
man.
at them,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And your
So,
game?
next on my list, this is a difficult one. Let's go with this one. So, this is actually something that I started playing quite recently. They're not that
Mm.
new, but I started playing them recently on my Nintendo 3DS. Is Pokemon franchise. All right, so this specific one, this is the only one that I've finished. Is the
Mm.
Pokemon Sun franchise, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you've played Pokemon before.
Dude, I tried to get into it. I
Mm.
really did. Back in the day
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah, yeah,
emulators,
yeah,
I was like, oh, this could be so cool because I used to watch Pokemon back in the day,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So I'm like, yeah, let's get into this game. It seems like it could be fun.
Mm.
And I could just never get into it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was sitting there playing it, realizing this is a
Mm.
classic.
Yes.
This is a game that I have to play. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why can't I get into
Why
it?
can't I get the
S-
feel of it, yeah?
yeah.
I have to
So
say,
hopefully in the
Zaffa.
future I'll get into it
Yeah,
somehow.
I have to tell you, right? So my nephew also used to play on emulators. He used to play the classics, like the Pokemon Black and the Pokemon White and those
Yeah.
franchises, which is
Yeah.
still a little bit 8-bitish, to put it that way.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I also used to watch him play, and there was a massive hype behind this, right? You look at everybody was just talking about Pokemon X and Pokemon Black, and I also tried playing it because I also was massive a muser, a massive, a massive,
Amuser.
um, a massive Pokemon fan to watch the series on TV.
Mm.
And I tried playing it, and it just didn't catch up to me as well. I have to be honest, I didn't get that vibe. But then
Yeah.
actually a friend of mine sponsored me a 3DS console. Now I'm also a
Mm.
massive fan of a handheld console, and these 3DS versions of Pokemon, like the graphics are a little bit better. Not, I'm a massive 8-bit fan. Don't get me wrong. I
Mm.
just didn't get the whole vibe behind the Pokemon series. But these 3DS copies are wow, bro. It is super good. It's really, really, really good. So if you ever get the chance, try these ones, because these ones brought me actually to a state of mind that now I do want to go and try out the older ones, the 8-bit
Okay.
ones, because now I
Mm.
get the whole dynamic behind everything, how it
Yeah.
works and
Yeah.
what you need to
I
do.
think I think what screwed me up at that time is I didn't want to do the whole rock paper scissors system of Pokemon.
Yeah,
Fire beats water, water beats rock,
yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't want to get into that
Mm,
because at that stage, now granted, at that stage I was working as a bartender,
mm.
which meant a bartender at quite a huge franchise in South Africa, Stones.
Oh yeah, I know Stones.
Oh yeah,
Many
those
crazy
eyes.
nights.
Oh yeah, I know
Many
Stones.
crazy nights.
Yeah, basically at the time that I started playing Pokemon, or attempted to play Pokemon, I was 99% of the time, and remember I was in varsity too.
Mm.
99% of the time I was drunk.
Oh.
So every time I started up a game, I didn't want to focus on learning
Yeah.
new mechanics or
Yeah, yeah,
anything. Like
yeah.
there was about There was about a year, maybe a year or so, that my gaming just took a backseat
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
was working as a bartender and yeah,
Studying,
I
yeah.
think that might be the reason. Maybe I should get back into it.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
I would suggest if you maybe the 8-bit ones will even catch on to you now, but if
Maybe
you
maybe
if
I
you
should
weren't
try
interested,
Temtem.
Tim. No, now you got
Temtem, yeah.
me.
It's
I
like
Yeah.
an indie developed Pokemon style game. Like if
Okay.
you played Pokemon, you'll be like, "Oh, this is that Pokemon. This is that Pokemon."
Ah,
But they're not using Pokemon
I
names.
see. I see. Yeah,
And
yeah,
maybe I should get into that. And if that
yeah,
grabs my attention, I
yeah.
could
I have
somehow
to say that
transition
the
into
thing is,
Pokemon.
I have all of them. I have the whole collection on the 3DS of the Pokemon Sun, Ultra Moon, and
Mm.
all of them, and they're really good games. I'm the same. I'm the same boat you are. Like, I didn't catch on to it as a younger person and that whole 8-bit vibe, but now actually I want to play that because I know how the
Yeah.
game works. I know what you need to do, and that's really cool. Right,
So
what's
so
next?
far,
Yeah,
yeah. So far, you've got Tony Hawk,
Tony Hawk
uh,
and Pokemon.
and
I
Pokemon.
just bought the one, but all of them.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah,
And like from a sport game to a creature catching game,
exactly. I told you.
whereas whereas I'm going from an old school adventure game to a um, tactical squad based RPG, tactical squad based shooter
Mm-hmm.
strategy thing, to a game that I can tell you is definitely a game that's got many games in it. I'm
Hmm.
talking, it's got 2D platforming in it, third person view,
Yeah, yeah,
most of the
yeah.
time third person view, 2D platforming, and you know those twin stick shooters where you just like run around
Oh,
and
yeah,
shoot
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything. Those twin stick shooters, it's got some of that in, um, and it's called Near Automata.
Never heard of
Near
it.
Automata, the craziest, most beautiful game. It's difficult to explain. Like, I'm not going to give the story away.
Yeah.
You're an android essentially
Oh,
fighting
yeah.
other robots,
Oh,
okay?
wow.
But the game is so freaking crazy, especially if you do all, listen to this, especially if you do, I think like it's 11 endings.
Mm-hmm. 11 different
L-
endings.
11 different endings.
Jeez, man.
But luckily what happens is you play it the first time through,
Yeah.
and then the second ending is literally like a bit of a playthrough and then it finishes.
Okay.
And then the third ending is something like halfway through the game you start it again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like the fourth ending is just the ending. You do the ending and choose one option, and then the fifth ending is you do the ending again and choose another option, stuff like that. So it's not a long game. Well, it's about 60 hours, I'd say, close
Of
to 60
continuous
hours
play now, right?
of continuous play.
Okay, that's not bad.
And
Yeah.
and I mean, it's a game where the credits turns into a game.
What? These
Yeah,
people just never wanted you to stop play. Just keep playing
they
our
just
game.
never wanted you to stop playing. And if ever you get into that game, you need to contact me so that I can tell you without giving you any spoilers
Yeah.
how you know you finished the game.
Oh, really?
And I'm going to tell you now. At the end of the game,
Mm-hmm.
they ask you one question. And then they ask you that same question again to make sure you know the right option. And they do this 3 or 4 times to make sure you want to say yes or no.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, if you
yeah.
say no, then they just accept it.
Yeah.
But if you say yes, they ask, or well, they don't accept it. They give you 2 or 3 chances to say yes again after you
Yeah,
said
yeah,
no.
yeah.
But if you say yes, it's like 5 times. Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, yeah.
And once you've hit that ending, I sat there and I was like sitting there and like, how the hell how the hell, what just happened? I literally had
Yeah.
to take like 4 days off because I couldn't compute what happened to me. I was sitting there, I was trying to process everything.
What a,
Near Automata, it
yeah.
is freaking brilliant. Also, it's
Wow.
got the best Android booty in town. Um,
Awesome.
it's you do self destruct on your Android, and
Mm,
she's wearing a dress.
mm.
And when you do self destruct, she's in like a sort of a swimsuit type thing.
Ooh.
And then if you play around in water,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
some wet booty. That's some wet booty, some shiny booty. And I
Shiny
sound
and
like
wet
a
booty.
yeah, I sound like a pervert, but the game's creator was literally like, I wanted to make a beautiful woman
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
beautiful boob, with a beautiful butt.
Mm.
Sue me.
Yeah,
If you play the game, you'll understand why the guy just does what he does. It's just
yeah.
like, okay, yeah, this guy is crazy. Do you know the E3 where the one guy came up with a moon mask with a moon
Mm-mm,
helmet?
mm-mm.
Yeah, it's based off of one of the Near Automata
Okay,
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah, moon-like helmet thing. It looks like the moon. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, man.
Near
Wow, sounds
Automata
cool.
number 8.
I'll
Yeah.
definitely try it out. Now, my next one is
Mm.
uh, is also a game that I played many years ago for the first time on my uncle's PC. You're gonna hear me say this a lot because my uncle was the only one in our family with a PC.
Oh
It
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
the Desperados franchise. I don't know if you know that.
Ooh, that's something I
Desperados.
always wanted to get into.
Yeah, Desperado. It's
Oh
like a
yeah.
me and Amp actually talked about it the other day. It's like a sixth person game. Like it's
Yeah.
far away and it's like a Red Dead Redemption vibe to it, and it has like
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
Dota vibe to it, and it has a lot of
I
different
believe,
mechanics
I
in it.
believe, I believe Desperados was the PC's answers to Red Dead Redemption. I believe.
I have no idea. The first time I played this was many years ago. So the first one was a few years ago, yeah. And I
Mm.
actually bought number three last week, and wow, man, this just it's not the most competitive game in the world. It's a thinking vibe, but it's a
Mm.
really like fun game. You get that whole cowboy vibe of that you get
Yeah.
from Red Dead
So
Redemption.
is it like a popcorn type game?
Yeah,
You just
I
play
would.
it, you don't
Yes,
think, and you just play it.
there's actually a lot of thinking going into it because there's
Oh yeah.
a lot of like planning on like there's a guy now, where must I go? You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
I feel that if you like Red Dead Redemption, you'll most definitely like Desperados as well.
Yeah, no,
It's a super
Desperados
fun
is on
game.
my list or on my radar for the longest
Mm,
time. Um,
it's
I
really
think
really
at the
cool.
time it came out, I didn't have a PC that could run it.
Yeah, I
So
just
yeah.
remember the because I saw I saw a video of this, and then I was like, wow, this game looks super familiar. And then I
Mm.
went into it, and then I saw, but this is the game that I used to play on my uncle's PC. And I'd remember the moment I started playing it, I was like addicted, bro. I just had to play
Yeah.
more and more and more. And then as
Mm-hmm.
I saw, wow, there's a new one out. Take my money. Here you go. Here you go. Here's my money. And then I started playing
Wow.
it. I want to stream this. I definitely want to stream this because it's a super satisfying game to
Yeah.
watch. I enjoy just watching. I've sat hours watching just gameplay. But it's on personal
Mm.
opinion. It's a fun game to watch. Yeah,
Oh,
so
nice.
Desperado's next.
Yeah. And then next up, we've all got this, but remember, this is my number 7.
All right.
And it's a game released by Squaresoft back in the day.
Yeah.
It was called Squaresoft. Um, and everybody's going to go, oh, okay. It's one of the Final Fantasies.
Oh.
Yeah. It's in my 7th slot. It's Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
And I played it last year.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
streamed it last year for the first time. I finished
Awesome.
it. I played it for the first time, and I finished it last year
Wow, man.
um, for the first time, and it was it was amazing. I knew about the plot twist
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, the big one,
Yeah.
um, but there were so many other like if you're gonna cry on stream, I think Final Fantasy VII is one of
Will
the
be the
games
yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you can cry and everybody's like, we
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
we know.
Wow.
There
That is.
was like the main thing, and I don't know if you know anything about Final Fantasy
I have
VII.
never played the Final Fantasy franchise. Right. I know it's one of
Mm,
the biggest things
yeah.
to ever hit
So
gaming. Yeah.
have you ever been into into anime music videos?
Not really. I love anime
Not
though.
really.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of anime music videos that literally gives you the plot of Final Fantasy
Oh,
VII.
really? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I get it. I take
So
it you a
like
big anime fan, right?
I used to be.
It
I
used to
used
be.
to be.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome,
I
awesome.
stopped watching around. I don't even know the last decent anime that I've watched. Oh, One
Yeah,
Punch
yeah.
Man was the last
One
decent
Patch
anime
Man.
that I've watched,
Awesome.
but I've never finished it.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
there's
I'm so
a
sorry. My
story,
dogs are going crazy. I'm so sorry
dude. It's
about
the
that.
daytime. It's the daytime,
Garbage
guys. There's
day.
gonna be cars in the background, and there's gonna be dogs. It's the daytime. We're doing it on a what Wednesday morning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so the big thing in Final Fantasy VII is one of the main characters dies like
Yeah.
halfway through the game,
Okay.
and and it's supposed to evoke a feeling of screw this, I'm gonna get the main bad guy,
Yeah. Mm.
Sephiroth. And but Final Fantasy VII, there's this one character, one of my favorite characters, and that's mainly because I love dogs.
Mm.
Is he's known as Red 13 or Red Nanaki,
Yeah, yeah.
and like all the characters in that game has a backstory.
Wow.
Like you play through those backstories
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want to. You can
Mm.
literally just go with the game,
Yeah.
but if you play through those backstories and the Red 13 backstory, man,
Sad.
I I cried. I
Wow,
cried.
man.
And it turns out that the writer for Final Fantasy VII, or one of the writers for Final Fantasy VII, went through a dark time. I think he
Ah.
lost his dad. His dad recently passed away while he was writing it. Someone passed away while he was writing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And you could feel like in most of the stories, you could feel like a sense of, because the whole thing about Final Fantasy VII is about loss and accepting it, you
Yes,
know?
yes, yes, yes.
But in Red 13's case, that thing hit hard.
Wow, man.
And it's I watched that, I played that game, and then immediately afterwards I watched the Final Fantasy VII Advent Children movie.
Mm, mm, mm.
Man, I watched it and I'm like, this makes so much more sense now, because I've watched the
Yeah.
movie before I played the game, like
Yeah,
way
yeah.
before I played the game. But when I watched that movie, oh bless you,
Sorry.
when I watched the movie after I played the game, I
Mm.
was like, oh,
Yes.
this, wow,
Wow.
yeah.
I have to say that Zaffa, I cry super easy. I
Mm,
cry literally. I watched American Idol the other night with my wife, and if someone just
yeah.
sings well, I start crying. So
Dude, that's
I
okay.
cry
That's
super
okay,
quick.
man.
Yeah,
That's okay to cry at beautiful things
yeah.
and to
I
be
just
emotional and
that's the
everything.
thing. Like beauty, like just makes me
Mm.
cry. Sometimes I just look at my wife and I start crying. Browning points.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get some brownie points.
Brownie
Quick,
points.
quick, quick. Yeah.
All right, but
Yeah, so
thank you
that
for
is
that Final
number
Fantasy
seven
one.
there.
Yeah, Final Fantasy
Yeah.
is something that I've never played, but I do know that a lot of people really dig it, and it's something that
And
I'll check out.
another thing about Final Fantasy, and this is the only game franchise that I know, like this is 99% of the time true,
Yeah,
95%
yeah,
of
yeah.
the time true. The first Final Fantasy you play is the best Final Fantasy
Whichever one you decide to play.
for you personally, yeah.
Ah,
um because I started on 8
mm,
and I never finished 8, but I eventually finished 7 before 8. But when I finished 8, I was like, yeah, 8 is my best.
I get
A
what you're
friend of
saying.
mine, his favorite Final Fantasy is 6,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know.
Mm.
Another friend is 7. Oh, everybody's favorite one is 7, most for the most part, but that was the first one they played.
Yes, yes, yes. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. Okay, wow, that's an
yeah,
interesting fact. Super interesting.
yeah.
So up next
And
for
your game?
me, Mr. Zephyr.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is also quite an old one. Um, and the reason for this is because I really like the whole war army vibe, if you get what I'm saying. So I don't like war. I don't like to go in a war.
Yeah.
I just like the whole vibe of it. I find it interesting to watch war documentaries and whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
this is actually not based on a real war. Is Army Men 3D. Army Men 3D.
Army Men.
Yeah, man. That was
Oh, where
like
you is that the one where you like melt plastic to make army
that
men?
is that is Army Men RTS. And believe it or
Oh, is
not,
that the
I'm
RTS?
actually
Yeah.
looking at my list here and I see RTS right on top of Army Men. Now, only recently discovered RTS, which is
Mm.
also super fun because RTS is more like a Age of Empires vibe, where army
Mm.
men you physically control your little army men with the WADS buttons.
Yeah.
So you control him and then you actually move his shooting cursor or whatever
Okay.
with your mouse. So it's more you in control of the player, where you don't just
Mm.
build. So you have this whole storyline of uh, of missions and things that you need to do. And so this specific game, I don't know when it came out, but it was also long ago. I asked my uncle. There was a game, I don't know if you remember. Now this is not on my list, although
Mm.
it's also a good game. Soldiers of Fortune. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, the first person shooter where you could shoot off the limbs of people.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
Now
and
I
when they're dead,
played
you can still shoot them and it
shoot
like
them and they just
plonks
break
off.
apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I played that, and then I loved it. That was the very first game that I've ever finished. Was Soldiers of Fortune. That's the first game that I've ever played the entire storyline finished.
Yeah.
And then what happened is my uncle. I asked my uncle, but I was super young. I don't know, uncle, why did you
Yeah.
allow me to play that? Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I was super young and I finished it, and I told my uncle like, "You, I would really love to play this kind of game again." And then he went around looking for number two, but we weren't very. I think if you weren't like really into gaming long ago, you don't really,
Yeah.
you're not up with gamer news. And of course we didn't have the internet that time the way we have it
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
right? You didn't
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
YouTube where you
Yeah.
can pop in trailer for the new Army Men or whatever it is. And he actually told me he's gonna go look for number two of Soldiers of Fortune, but as to our knowledge, it wasn't released yet. So then he popped this game, Army Men 3D. And I came home from school, and I remember he was driving this old Honda Blade, like 1986 model, with this
Mm-hmm.
tan dashboard. And he told me, like, pop open the glove box. And I popped open the glove box, but the glove box was broken. So it fell out completely and out slid this Army Men 3D copy. And as I
Yeah.
looked at it, just the graphics on that cover was like, wow, I need to play
Mm.
this right now. And this game is on my list not only for how fun it is, but as well as the nostalgia that it brings with it. For like, me and my uncle used to sit nights and nights and nights just jamming this game. I think I've finished it like 100 times because it's quite a short storyline, but
Yeah.
super fun. Really, really fun.
Yeah. If I remember, Soldier of Fortune. I'm looking at the screenshots now. I think it looks like the Quake 2 engine.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
not sure.
based off of the
You
Quake
you
2
you're
engine.
gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna you're gonna get to realize I'm not very clued up with who does what and whatever, but stuff like that I do. You
But
can
I know,
see the whole
like,
Quake vibe in it. Yeah.
yeah, I understand that you went with Army Men because it was released the year before Soldier of Fortune.
No.
It was released in 99 and Soldier of Fortune was released in 2000. And Soldier of Fortune
Then maybe it
2
was the other
was
way around.
released in 2002.
Yeah. Then it was
Yeah.
the other way around. You gotta get, this is like 18 years ago.
Yeah, no, no, no.
Yeah.
Like, you played Soldier of Fortune 1, 2000.
Yeah.
And if he couldn't find number 2, he got you Army Men
I
3D. And
think
Army Men
so. Yeah,
3D
yeah,
was
yeah.
released before 2.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
2,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mix up there. But
Yeah.
yes, that's, I just remember like he got me that game instead of the whole new Soldiers of Fortune. But Soldiers of Fortune was also a great game, yeah.
Dude, it was
It was a
multiplayer.
good,
That game was crazy.
wow, man. That was really a cool game. So what's next for you, Mr. Zaffa?
Okay, we're still on the Final Fantasy train.
Okay, good.
Final Fantasy 8.
Final Fantasy 8.
Yeah, that is the best Final Fantasy that I've played.
Yeah.
And it's in my seventh spot. It was also the most beautiful looking Final Fantasy when it released. A friend of mine played it, and he went crazy. Azhenko, it's another streamer friend of mine. He went crazy about 8. And so I got into his hype. And like, never finished it back in the day, but I finished it for the first time on stream like a year ago, maybe 2. Can't really remember. And man, that storyline. At the end, I was just like, okay, everything happened. And at the very end, I literally started crying tears of joy
Oh, really?
because of
Wow.
this. Yeah, like, this is the thing about Final Fantasies, especially the earlier ones. I think up until 8 or 9. I think it's up until 9. There's some point in the storyline when you realized, okay, the developers went hard on drugs.
Oh, really?
And I'm talking LSD. I'm talking because nothing makes sense. Like there's a certain part in the game when you're like, what?
Yeah.
But how? And they explain it, and you're still sitting there going, I
What?
understand it, but what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I mean, there's you develop feelings for the characters as a player, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
if I was in this guy's shoe, I would go for that one. And then you find out
Ah,
like 2 hours later, you're technically family, and you're like,
what?
what? And then you're not really family, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you see each other as family, and you're like, okay, but what? And then you're family again, and you're like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
So it is quite Final Fantasy VIII,
Good game.
the best in my opinion of all the Final Fantasies
Oh,
that
awesome.
I've played,
Awesome.
and I've played six, seven, eight, nine, and I was busy with 10.
Oh, awesome.
And I did play the online one, but it was beautiful character development, very beautiful cutscenes.
Mm.
It was also the first Final Fantasy VIII was also the first one that had, as part of its musical soundtrack, actual lyrics and words being sung,
Wow.
which took me by surprise the first time I heard it. Yeah. And also another thing
Interesting.
about
That's something
Final
I want to come
Fantasy.
into. Yep.
Yeah. Another thing about Final Fantasy, the theme songs. Dude,
Mm.
the moment you play one, if you hear a song, you're like, that's Final Fantasy, whatever. It's like, that's a song from Final Fantasy. You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
know it.
You just know it. And that's
Yeah.
something that they did right, man. Because if you think
Mm.
about it, sound is super important, right? To
Yeah.
to to link up two things. And I mean, if they did such a good job with that song, that you're like, oh, that's Final Fantasy. That's
I
big
mean,
ups to them.
I was playing Final Fantasy 14, the online one,
Mm.
and I got a mount. But every time you get on a mount, they play like a different theme song and whatever,
Oh
or they
yeah.
play something different. And I got on a mount and I just paused and I maximized the music and I sat there for 2 minutes listening to
Just
the mount
appreciating
song.
the song.
And I'm like, and I got emotional because it was the Final Fantasy Terra's theme,
Oh,
which
awesome.
is. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm waxing lyrically about these memories of these games. Let's go to yours. What's your
No, don't
next
worry
one?
about it. It's awesome to listen to you. So my next one, another sport game, and this is where I actually want to go back to my number one, Tony
Oh
Hawk. Now
yeah.
there's another skateboard game called Skate. Now I give you like two guesses. What do you think this game is about? The name says it all. Skate. So what
Yeah,
you do is
skate. Yeah.
you basically skate. And the reason why I brought this in, like I said, I used to be a skateboarder, right? And Tony
Yeah.
Hawk was more to like you live out your dream trick, where skate is much more realistic. So if you
Mm.
go off too high of a drop, you fall, or if
Mm.
you land wrong on the deck, your board snaps. And so this is as I got older as a skateboarder, this became really fun to me because of the realism, and it's super,
Yeah.
super, super realistic. And I actually had this on PS3. Yeah, it came out. I think it came out on PS3, and let me just put off my aircon. It came out on PS3, and I had number two. And
Yeah.
when I got the PS4, I gave my PlayStation 3 to my younger brother. And the one
Mm-hmm.
day I was just sitting here, and a friend of mine actually said, "Let's go skateboard again." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." Got my skateboard and went out for a little nice skate. Fell myself to the bone, but got back up and just did it like in the old days. And then I
Mm.
got like this urge to play this game again. And then I'm like, "Listen, little brother, it's been fun, but it's time to return my PS3." And I took it back, and then I played Skate 2. And then I went
Yeah.
onto the PlayStation Store, but it wasn't available. The Skate 3 franchise wasn't available on the PlayStation Store. And
Mm-hmm.
then I bought this off Takealot, believe it or not, and I actually got a copy of it. And the Skate 3 and Skate 2 is kind of the exact same thing. The graphics are a little bit
Yeah.
better, and you get new worlds, but it's the exact same thing. And then a few months later, I was like, I lost this case. I still had the disc, but I lost the casing. And for some reason, I went onto the website again, and I'm like, okay, I want to try out the new skate because it would be cool to see the franchise developing. And I accidentally bought another copy of Skate 3 because I thought it was the new one, and I just in my mind it was like I have Skate 2, and then I bought two
Yeah.
copies of Skate 3. But this is
Ah,
definitely
okay.
in my top 10 super fun game to me. So if you're a
Mm-hmm.
skateboarder, I definitely recommend this. I do think it's only on PS3 though. I'm not sure.
The the big thing though is like I get it. You have fun in doing crazy tricks with Tony Hawk, and then the realism. For me, when a game gets a little bit too realistic, I'm like,
Oh, really? Ah,
oh
okay,
yeah, I
okay,
don't wanna.
okay.
I don't wanna worry about that. Like that's why
Yeah,
I
yeah,
stay away from most racing games
yeah.
because they're like you need to you need to have your tire width, and then you
Yeah,
need to change this in the engine. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just want to push forward and drive. That's why I
Just
like Need for Speed too.
I wanted to say that just now. I just wanted to interrupt you there when it comes to racing
Mm,
games. So I love racing games, right? They're fun to me.
yeah,
I even have a racing wheel, and I'm a racer. In my head,
yeah.
I'm like I'm Vin Diesel, bro. Sitting there, I
Yeah,
live my life a quarter mile at a time, you know.
yeah.
But
The big thing is I don't
yeah,
want to adjust the wheel alignment to
that's the
make
thing with me.
corners
Like then
turn. I'm
then
like,
I'm
no.
streaming this. I'm streaming this, and the people sending me messages. You need to change this in your Rock Nick the Rush. This needs to be changed 2% to the left. And I'm like, listen, bro, what are you saying? I don't know.
Yeah,
I know nothing
yeah,
about engines. Nothing. Nothing. Just to be clear, nothing. So, yeah, I get what you're saying when it comes to racing games. I'm a
yeah,
massive
yeah.
racing game fan, though. But Need for Speed's the
Okay.
way to go. The bigger the NOS, the better the outcome, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing to me.
It's it for me like Need for Speed 2 was just amazing where you eventually because there were shortcuts on every map.
Yeah, yeah,
So you
yeah.
had to figure them out. So you
Yeah.
like just continue on driving. You see the computer follow the path. You're like, fuck it, I'm going down
I'm
here.
going down here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
We're on number
My
five
next
now,
one.
right?
We're on number 5 now, yeah.
I'm gonna do
Do
four
you do
next.
we have enough time though? Because I'm looking at the time and we're actually waxing lyrical too much. Should we make this a two-parter?
I don't know.
We
What do
we
you
we
think?
we, we go for 5. I mean, when do you need to leave? In half an hour?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call it there and continue this for the next episode,
Not a
which
bad
is a good
idea.
thing
Not
because
a
the
bad
next
idea.
episode is gonna hit us pretty damn soon. I
Yes,
mean,
yes, yes,
we're
yes.
we're we're gonna continue on this conversation. You see, I'm a guy stickler for time, so I'm sitting here going, okay, cool. He needs to go at that time. I need to because I've also planned things around this
Yeah,
now. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, cool, yeah.
But this is awesome.
Um,
Look, I could just
this
have a
is
chat.
freaking
I'm super sorry, guys, that we are. No, we're not. We're not sorry about going off topic because we just get lost in
yeah,
what we love, man.
yeah.
We just get lost in what we love.
Just a quick mention here,
Yeah.
and I forgot to mention it on our first podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Shazkill, do you know about her?
Mm-mm.
She is like a popular esports person in
Oh
South
yeah.
Africa,
Yeah.
and just this is going to go a little bit serious.
Mm.
Okay, I don't have all the info, but background. I don't pay attention to esports mainly because it's got the word sports in it. Um,
Yeah.
but I generally like. I recently started getting into it,
Mm.
watching a lot of Quake Champions and you know random CS:GO matches here and there. I don't go out of my way to watch them,
Mm.
but I like if I see them, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's watch a couple of
Let's see.
rounds and
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what's happening and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
figure things out. But she was a CS:GO player, I believe. And she had some health complications the last couple of
Oh
months,
no,
month or
man.
two. And good news is she's recovering. And I just want to say, like, hey, Shaz, hoping for a full recovery.
Yeah, man.
We're looking
Same.
forward to we're looking forward to seeing you around again. It's gonna take a while because it's like kidney failure or something.
Oh
Yeah, it's
no,
kidney
man.
failure that she's had, and there's a bunch of other medical issues. And I just want to
Yeah.
say, like, it's gonna. Like I said, I don't know a lot, but I do
Mm.
follow the story. I do follow
Awesome.
her story now. I don't comment on it, or I don't,
Mm.
I just like shit. I hope she's doing well. I
She's
mean,
doing well.
and
Yeah.
it looks like slow but steady. They are
Oh,
gonna.
that's good
She's coming
news.
back.
That's
That
good
is
news.
good
Yeah, from
news.
my side as well.
Yeah,
All the best, and may you have a full recovery.
yeah.
Yeah. Man.
And what else? I don't think there's any South African gaming news that we can quickly touch on. Uh,
Yeah, man. I'm also
yeah, there's
hitting
no
a
real
blank with the
gaming
gaming
news.
news.
There's no real gaming news in
Yeah,
South
man.
Africa.
Yeah.
But yeah,
ESCOM
that
just hit us
is.
today with another stage 2 load shedding.
Well, you're in Cape Town, right?
Yeah.
So you don't you have stage 1, not stage
I
2.
don't have any load shedding. I'm super lucky. The area that I'm on,
Are you on like a government power line
they
or something?
Zuma stays next to me. I'm just kidding. There's a power box like 2 meters away from my house, and
Mm.
because of the power keep like the switching off the power, a transformer or something broke
Oh, you
all
told
the
me.
time. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they spend like 2 million rand already to fix it, so they just stopped putting out our power. So please
Mm,
do not
mm.
watch this. If you work for Eskom, skip this video right now because I'm scared they hear me and then they're like, we got you,
Yeah,
bro. In the
we
next
gotcha.
5 minutes,
Yeah,
they put my power off.
freaking last night I saw on Twitter it's like, oh, load shedding is back. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Luckily, I didn't get hit,
Oh, awesome.
but yeah, load
Awesome.
shedding is a bit of a dick at the
I can
moment.
imagine for you, man. Especially for
Yeah,
you, man. Yo.
it is. It is a bit of a dick, but
Yeah.
that's South Africa for you.
Yeah.
We're stuck here for the time being.
Yeah, yeah.
We're stuck here. What
Awesome.
games are you going to play in the future? You're going to go back to Wolfenstein?
Yes, I'm most definitely still gonna continue my Wolfenstein saga. I'm gonna do that on all my streams now because I'm super addicted, right? So I
Hmm.
stream the 3 days of the week. I want to do this game the whole time. It's super fun, and the crowd really loves it as well. The graphics on it is insane.
Yeah.
So I'm most definitely gonna continue this story saga until I'm done with it. I'm thinking about after I finish this, I do want to do either Desperados 3 or Wolfenstein Young Blood. I almost said Wong Blood.
Ooh,
Yeah.
don't do Youngblood.
No.
Don't do Youngblood. Youngblood is the worst in the
Is
franchise.
it? Okay.
Yeah, I'd say go back to the first one that was released like before this one.
Yeah, yeah.
New Order.
New
New
Order.
Order?
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Go to
Okay.
that one first. Um the storyline in that one isn't as good as in 2, as
Yeah.
in New Colossus, but yeah, it is a fun romp.
Oh, really?
You get to you understand like why where they came from with the game and everything, and then
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, when does Machine Games release another game? And
Mm.
then if you look at Youngblood, you're like, okay, Machine Games, stop releasing another game.
Oh, really?
Don't
Really?
release another game. Yeah, their gameplay and everything was a bit weird for everybody.
Is it? Is it?
Whereas like in Wolfenstein, you point and click and
Yeah.
things will eventually die.
Yeah, yeah.
In Youngblood, you have certain ammo types and they have
Ah.
certain armor types. So what you need to do is you need to switch to a weapon that destroys the armor first, and then switch to a
Ah.
weapon that will kill them with their type of armor, with their type of bullets. So it's
Wow.
like you have to micromanage your
I
stuff, and it's
get what
like,
you're saying.
no,
Yeah.
give me stuff that I could just shoot,
Yeah.
and I'm happy.
I
That's
just want to clutch
Wolfenstein,
this
you
thing.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
you
have
don't
to
flop
say,
it, yeah.
even with the new Colossus, it's super difficult to kill people because I actually, when I decided, I'm gonna stream this,
Mm.
I started to do it on. I think there's a Can I Play Daddy, and then there's Don't Hurt Me, and then there's Bring 'Em
Yeah,
On, and then there's
I am death
Nazi,
incarnate.
and there's
Yeah, yeah,
this,
it's
yeah.
death, and the last one is I am death incarnate, where
Yeah,
it's
so I
like,
decided to
yeah,
do Bring 'Em On, like right in the middle, so the viewers don't
yeah,
think, oh, guy, what are you doing? You're gonna finish this game so
mm.
easy. But, bro, I had to change the
it's
difficult down.
it's
I had to change it
difficult,
down.
dude.
It's super
It's
difficult.
difficult, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
man.
difficult. I mean, for I've got always like Jim Sterling released a video where viewers of streamers complained that they're playing a game on normal or easy difficulty.
Yeah,
Default difficulty or easy difficulty.
yeah.
Here's my answer. I'm from South Africa. Life is hard enough as is. I don't want
Exactly.
to I don't want to struggle in a game the way I struggle in South Africa.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
True that, man.
And that's why I go easy or normal mode, because
Mm.
it's like, even like the more difficult games, I literally go in the beginning, I'm like, guys, easy. Because I
Yeah,
just want to
yeah,
fucking finish this game and I play it for the
it's
storyline. Fuck
true, man. It's true.
it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because the thing is also,
Yeah.
if you think about it, you go on hard, you keep failing at the same mission the whole time. The viewer's gonna be like, "Oh, this is boring." Ciao. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. But
It
also,
is,
man,
but yeah, yeah.
is that it for our episode today, Mr. Zaffa?
I think that is. Do you want to start the shout out, or
Of
should
course,
I?
man. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is ATG Gaming. I am a South African content creator in the beautiful Cape Town. I stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 9 p.m. GMT plus 2. I'm currently busy with the Wolfenstein New Colossus, Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus, and do pop in and check out all my social links under ATG Gaming. And yeah, thank you for your support, Mr. Zaffa.
Yeah. Hi, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us on this podcast. My name is Zaffa Geek. I hope you're having an awesome day when you're watching this. You can find me over at on Twitch, Twitter, maybe Instagram on Zaffa Geek, either with an underscore between Zaffa and Geek or not, because uniform branding, I don't know it. And I'm playing for the next week or so. I'm gonna do a bit of Satisfactory tonight, and then tomorrow night I'm gonna do some Sea of Thieves. I think the new season releases on Sea of Thieves tomorrow. And Friday, it might be even more Sea of Thieves, and hopefully I can get into the GTA RP community. I'm gonna send in my little bit of a RP application tonight, and hopefully by Friday it's approved. If it's not approved, then we'll probably hit up some Sea of Thieves or No Man's Sky or something like that. Um, because I've got a new graphics card now. Well, I got a replacement graphics card, so things are looking good. And
Awesome.
my YouTube videos will come back normal. My Patreon videos and everything will come back normally this week because of the graphics card thing. I was like, you know what? I'm sad and depressed. I'm going to sit in the corner and just
Yeah.
play really really old games or
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
indie game.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's me. Zaffa Geek, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. Twitch, Zaffa Geek on all the socials. And thank you again, ATG, for having me. And
Thank you, Zephyr. Thank you, man. Was
yeah,
awesome.
and we'll see each other on Sunday, but we'll probably see you guys on Monday again.
Definitely.
Yeah,
This one you'll
yeah.
see when you see
Tomorrow.
it tomorrow.
Well,
Yeah.
you'll see it on Thursday,
You'll see it on Thursday.
the
Wow.
15th. The
Like we said,
15th.
we
Yeah.
are not mathematicians, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, brother. But Zephyr, thank you for your time. To all the viewers, thank you guys for all the support on the first one. Do keep them coming. Let us know in the comments what you guys think,
Yeah.
future topics, whatever. If you don't like this podcast, just give us a down like also, because it also pushes the video up. Never mind. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.
All
And
right.
thank you very much, Zephyr. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
You too. Cheers, man.